Hey guys, this lesson is on finding the area of a square or rectangle. The first thing we're going to do is review some of our vocabulary. Perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure. Area is the amount of space covered by the inside of a figure. A dimension is a measurement in one direction, and it's important to remember that length and width are examples of dimensions. And now we'll review some of our important rules to remember. It's important to remember that the opposite sides of a rectangle are always equal. So if this side on the top is 8, then the side directly across from it will also be 8. It's also important to remember that all sides of a square are equal. So if I'm given one side length of 3, I know that all the other side lengths must also be 3. And the last important rule we want to remember is that perimeter is measured in normal units and area is measured in square units or units squared. Now we'll get into actually finding the area of a square or rectangle. The formula for the area of a rectangle or a square is length times width. Write an expression that could be used to find the area of the rectangle below. So if I know that area is length times width, I know that my length is 5 and my width is 3. So I would find the area by doing 5 times 3, which is an area of 15. The expression that I used to find this is 5 times 3. The first question says, what is the area of the rectangle below? Well, I know to find area, I need to know both the length and the width. And when I know both of those things, I know the formula is length times width. So 8 times 5 will tell me the area, and 8 times 5 is 40. So the area is 40 square units. The next question says, what is the area of the square below? Again, when I'm finding area, I know I need to know both the length and the width. But this problem only gives me one dimension. But it did tell me that the shape is a square. And if you think back to what we talked about when we talked about important rules to remember, we said that all sides of a square are always equal. So if one side is 3, then the other sides must also be 3, which means that for a square, the length and the width are going to be the same. So if the width is 3, the length will also be 3. So the area of this square is 9 units squared, which is another way of saying square units. This problem says, Miss Earls showed her class the rectangle below. What would the new area be if she doubled the length and the width? There's a couple things I need to pay close attention to in this problem. The first is that it's asking me to find the new area. That tells me that I'm not actually going to focus on the rectangle that they drew for me. I'm going to need a new figure. The next thing is that she doubled the length and the width. Well, I know that my previous length was 4, so if I double it or multiply it by 2, my new length is 8. I know that my previous width was 2, so if I double it, that becomes 4. So my new width is 4. And so in looking for the new area, I'm going to multiply the length times the width, which means I'm going to multiply 8 times 4. So I know that the new area, if you were to double the length and the width of the old rectangle, would be 32 square units. And this last question says Alicia wants to put new carpet in her bedroom. The room is 3 times as long as it is wide. If the room is 8 feet wide, how much carpet does she need to buy? This problem doesn't tell me that I'm looking for area, but I know that carpet covers the entire floor of a room. And because it covers the entire floor, I know that I'm looking at the inside of that rectangular room. And because I'm looking at the inside of that rectangular room, I know that I'm looking for area. The two things I need to know in order to find area are length and width. In this problem, I was given a width of 8, but I don't know the length. There is something in the problem, though, that tells me about the length. It says that the room is 3 times as long as it is wide, which means that it will take 3 widths to make the length. So I will have 3 groups of 8 to make the length. And 8 times 3 is 24. And I know that when I'm finding area, I multiply the length times the width. 24 times 8. The first thing I want to do is multiply 4 times 8, which I know is 32. The 2 goes down here in the ones place, and I'm going to carry the 3 to the tens place. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply the 2 and the 8, and then add the 3. So 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So I know that the area of her room, of Alicia's room, is 192 square feet, or feet squared. So she needs to buy 192 square feet of carpet.